Hey, good morning, good morning. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator. I'm so glad to be here again. We are still going through the 15 laws of valuable growth. We're going through the law of awareness. And so today we're talking about, we're going to open it up for the fans to be able to join in and share their growth experience over this past week or 2 weeks. First week, we went over the law of intentionality, and now we're into the law of awareness. We'll be wrapping this up this week and then moving on to law number 3. So we're just taking it slow and easy, going at our own pace because we're in no rush to grow. We recognize that as you plant a seed into a ground, it may take a while before you actually see that seed manifest into its harvest. And so we want to see your harvest manifest in your life. Mr. Dotan, thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Yeah, thank you once again for having me here. It's a great day. And we want to be looking at the other 2 questions that we want to use to wrap up this second law of growth. I think this one has to do with when can you start doing what you like to do. So what a great question to start with, Mr. Ivan.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Matt Singer's here as well. He is visiting us today. So thanks so much for your presence, sir. You just want to tell a little people about you, yourself, and what you do. We'll get that on for them to be able to follow you as well. We got no volume coming in from you, Mads.
Oi, is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fantastic. Right, so my background is in management with companies like IBM, and a couple of years back I quit my job. I lived in the UK at the time, and I've been traveling now for a few years after that. And I started last year. I ended up starting a company here with a partner in the Philippines, where we basically help find very good virtual assistants that can help businesses all around the world and basically process what they do, right? So a lot of people, particularly small entrepreneurs, they need help with what they're doing. So that could be social media, video editing, research, building websites and the likes. So we basically help them find basically help them complete all this work and all these tasks, right? So that's pretty much what we do, and we've managed to grow from basically 0 to about 35 people now in a year and a half or so. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, man. So, man, real quick, man, you said you quit your job at IBM. What prompted you to do that, and what did it really take for you to get from that phase of quitting your job, starting your business, getting past the level of frustration or fear or whatever it is that, I think every entrepreneur goes through, to now where you are today?
Well, quitting your job, it's easy enough. You just need to resign. So that was not different from most people. I have to say, I actually love my job. Like I've never had a job I didn't love, because if I had it, I wouldn't be doing it. So I've always been loving my job, but for me, it was more a question of, I wanted to continue to manage people, but I wanted to be able to be in a location where I could help people more. And living in the UK, a lot of people, I love doing coaching with people and personal development stuff, and a lot of people don't really want the help. I mean, it's very difficult to find people that, that really want life, that really want to make the most out of it. And it was really, really difficult for me to find enough people like that to help. And particularly here in Asia, where it's not just a question of wanting to grow, but it's a question of survival. People have a lot more natural motivation for it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier. I mean, here I do a lot of public speaking in big schools and universities, and do a lot of seminars and so on, and just to help people. So I love doing that. But I mean, in terms of the jump, there's a huge mindset shift from being an individual to becoming a business owner, right? I mean, when you work in a company, the philosophy is generally different, right? Management is slightly different, so I had learned a lot of it up front. So, but a lot of the people that I'm working with and coaching, they really struggle with that change from one to the other, and I've probably had the benefit. I've been coaching people for a long time before I quit my job as well, so I've probably had the benefit for a long time to be able to do that up front, right? But I mean, to be honest, it wasn't a big challenge for me. I booked my flight tickets. I finished my job like 2 days before I was meant to fly back out here to Asia. And I brought my 8-kilo backpack, and that was pretty much all I brought. And then a fairly small credit card, I would say, and then just a question of getting going. So
get going, fantastic, man. So let's do a quick recap. Thanks so much for sharing, Matt. Let's do a quick recap. Yesterday and the day before, just it's 10 questions. We started with what would you do you like what you're doing now? So Matt just talked. He actually loved what he was doing, but we know there's a lot of people that may not like what they're doing right now. That was the first question that you wanted to answer as it relates to finding your passion and your purpose. The second question,
yes, just one thing is I've always been a big believer that happiness is a choice, right? And when I say that, I mean anything someone have been unhappy for, other people have been happy for. So a lot of the time when I see people, for example, in a job being unhappy, a lot of it tend, in my opinion at least, to relate to they want more or they want different for the sake of it, right? A lot of the time people have a difficult time appreciating what they're doing, or at least getting their mindset right about what they're doing, right? Because if they focus on it the right way, they can find things that they enjoy in what they do.
Absolutely. So guys, find joy in what you do. And so the second question that we answered was, what would you like to do? It's kind of finding your purpose. What would you like to do? Third question, can you do what you like to do? Are you prepared for the opportunities that present themselves to you? Fourth question, do you know why you want to do what you like to do? The big why, knowing why you want to do what you like to do. Next question was, do you know what to do so that you can do what you want to do? Do you know what to do so that you can do what you want to do? What preparations do you need to make? What people do you need to contact? Do you have the awareness, the action, and accountability? Sixth question, do you know people who do what you like to do? This goes back to finding a coach, finding a mentor, finding someone that has success in what you would like to do and mimicking their success, or reaching out to them, or reading their books, or doing something so you can prepare your mind and know what you're going to be facing as you make this step, as you start moving towards your worthy ideal. The seventh question was, should you do what you like to do with them? Is this the right person for you to connect with? Is this the right person for you to go into business with? Understanding all of that as you are continuing to make progress. And then the eighth question was, will you pay the price to do what you like to do? Are you willing to pay the price? It's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to maybe take some long nights, depending on what it is that you like to do. So we'll pick this up today, and we get into the ninth question is, when can you start doing what you like to do? When can you start to do what you like to do? Mr. Dotan.
When can you start doing what you like to do? So talking about when can you start doing what you like to do? I think we talked a little bit on that. It has to be now, I would say. It has to be now or never, because time is going so like mad. It took a big jump, right? By the way, one of my clients was IBM up until I think August of 2014. So it's good to know that you're an ex-IBM as well. I mean, so it took a big jump. He loved what he was doing, but he saw the need for him to actually move towards where it will be fulfilled. And so he wasn't scared to take that big jump when it was necessary. He just went on. He didn't think so much about it to say, or maybe I wait a few more years. So when we like doing what you start to do, and the truth is that you will never be prepared to start doing what you like to do. So you waiting to be prepared before you start is not a good way to go either. It has to be now. In the book, 15 Laws of Growth, John Maxwell shared his own story about the fact that many of the things that he tried to do in life, he started doing even before he got prepared. He shared his experience of how, so the I-Equip, for example, the I-Equip is an organization that has trained over 6 million leaders around the world in more than 120 nations. Now you find out how were they able to do that? He didn't even have a model, as he said when he started off. He didn't have a strategy when he started off. He just started doing it anyway. And today, they've trained over 6 million people. So, but so many times we want to find they have the nice plan in place, everything is looking good, we have all the resources, then we can start. Maybe that's not the way to go. From what I'm learning now, looking at his own story. So if we want to start doing what we need to do, it has to be now. Because the whole idea around that is that you want to gain momentum. You just keep moving and believing that things will begin to fall in place one step after the other, so that you can keep your momentum going, because that's what you really need in being able to make the change that you want to make in life, having that momentum. So it has to be now.
Absolutely. When you start doing what you like to do, go ahead, Mads.
Yeah, the key thing for me is always this one, right? People always want to get from A to B the very straight way, right? So you can spend a lot of time planning and trying to figure out the right way. However, reality is the straight way never happens, right? So the point is, you want to start today and you want to work towards where you want to get, right? Now, you might need to go up and down, but as long as you keep working towards what you want in life, right, then eventually it will happen. The point is, most people just sit back and waste their life watching TV saying, oh, well, I don't know the perfect way, so there's no point going anyway, right? So definitely for me, the number one thing that have always helped me being successful is I might not know the entire way, but I might know someone that have gone a little bit of the way, and I'd rather go and learn some stuff from them and get a little bit of the way, and then learn more from different people and help patch up, right? So the key thing is just get started on what you want to do, right? It doesn't matter what it is, right? I mean, people always say to me, oh, it's so brave doing this thing, and it's not, right? In the end of the day, as a human being, you will always find a way to survive, right? For many people, some of the best things that happen is they get fired, right? Because sometimes when you get fired, you're suddenly like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? And you're forced to put yourself into a much better position, right? Now, the thing is, laziness, or not laziness, but let's say comfort, is often the pillow for many people of why they just keep sort of sitting back and saying, oh, yeah, someday when I get rich, or someday when whatever day, right? And whenever you keep saying someday or next year or the year after, it's not going to happen.
Wow. Yeah, I tell people, stay away from soon, someday, and one day people. Those are the killers. Soon, someday, and one day. Mr. Beatles, thanks so much for joining in the building.
Hey man, I'm thankful. I'm just thankful for being here. You know, for another Friday morning. Just to piggyback on what's being said right now. You know what I mean? When do you get started? You get started right now. And you get started with the knowledge that you have in place currently. You take all of the experiences, all of the challenges, all the triumphs, and then take the new idea, this new thing that you want to do, and you start now. And as Mads Singer was saying, you know, it's not a straight line. Success is not a linear line, but it is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So if you get started and stay started, then you'll start seeing yourself walk into all of the stuff that you desire. But it's an evolution, right? It's this thing we call progress is a character builder, and so it's supposed to be challenging. You're supposed to find out new stuff. You're supposed to always be on the edge of your reality, because that's where you're growing. And so you don't want to lay on the pillows of comfort. You want to stay at the edge of your reality.
And here's the deal, as you guys are saying, man, at the end of the day, man, you may not know all of the steps, but I'm a big believer that you know the next step. And once you take the next step, then the following step will reveal itself to you. So I think it goes like this. You go as far as you can see, and then when you get there, you'll be able to see even further. Go as far as you can see, and once you get there, you'll be able to see even further. So get started now, man, and even start from where you are, no matter how small that is. I know people that have these big dreams, these big goals. They're going to do some amazing things in this world, but they just won't start. Start from where you are. Again, I started just with a phone and taping myself. It's this craziest looking thing when I go back and look at it from a year ago, but guess what? I got started. And we got started with this blab. It started with 2 people. And now look where we are. We got started. Get started. Put yourself out there. Do something. It doesn't have to be the thing that you perfectly wanted to be, but it's got to be something. Why? Because the world needs to start to recognize that you're serious about your own dream. Let me repeat that again. The world needs to realize that you're serious about your very own dream. Once we can see that you're serious, then we hop on your bandwagon for success. Once we can see that you're serious, then we hop on your bandwagon for success. Who doesn't want to be connected to success? Anybody signing up for, I want to be connected to despair, drama, and dysfunction? No, we're signing up to people that want to be successful. And the way that you represent or you show your success is not by talking about it. We don't talk about the fruit that we want to bear. We just go bear the fruit and let the fruit speak for itself. And repeat that again. We don't talk about the fruit that we want to bear. We just bear the fruit and let the fruit speak for itself. Get started today. It's Friday. What better day? What better time than now? All right. That's the question number 9. When can you get started doing what you like to do? And the last question, as you go on to pursuing or finding your passion and your purpose, what will it be like when you get to do what you like to do? What will it be like? Imagine this. Think about it. Your big dream. What would it be like? How will it feel? How will you walk? How will you talk when you get to do what you like to do? Mr. Dotan.
What it would be like when you get to do what you want to do. The first key point there is that it will be different from what you imagined. It will be different from what you imagined. And so again, we have we sort of like hold in our minds the ideal of where we want to get to, and most times when it evolves, it's not going to be exactly the way we've held it in our mind. So we need to be mindful of that. And so it's fine that it's not going to be like that. It doesn't mean that maybe you've not achieved the level of success that you were hoping for, but it's just the reality. Because most times what we hold in our mind is just a figure of the reality that we're going to hit when we keep moving in the direction of our success. So it will be different from what we originally imagined. So for example, just following on what Matt did several years ago, I think I woke up on the right side of my bed back home in Lagos, Nigeria, and I decided to relocate to Canada. That was a big jump for me. Folks back home looked at me that, are you going crazy? Are you going nuts? Canada, that cold country, who do you know there? I don't know anybody. But I just believed in my mind that it's time for me to go to the next step of what I'm doing in life by giving me that challenge of moving to that country. And I began to move. But I held some ideal in my mind based on the pictures I've seen about Canada and things like that. But when I arrived in Canada on the ground, it wasn't exactly so. In fact, the beauty of it was the surprising thing for me was that many of the nice pictures I used to look at on the internet, I'm yet to see some of those things in reality. Where are all these nice flowers and all these things that I used to watch on the internet? Where are they? So the truth is that the reality of the reality of what we are going to experience is usually going to be different from the ideal that we held in our mind. So that's the first thing, Mr. Ivan.
Absolutely. Madge, you got anything to say about that, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just agree. I mean, one of the key things when people do the planning, right, when they make the perfect plan, the problem is if something goes wrong, they quit, right? Because they're not used to the failure. They're not used to being able to have something not work because they planned it all and now the plan isn't working. So, my idea didn't work, right? The thing is, when you get used to just crunching and going for it, even though things come in the way in there, you just find a way to get through it, right? So when you learn to just do, you also get much, much sharper at actually just focusing on finding the solutions. And actually, one of my favorite books is called The Obstacle is the Way. And I love the concept of basically the way you go is you constantly look for the next obstacle and you find a way over it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Beatles?
Man, that is so good. Look, this is what I want to do. We got 10 people in the building right now, currently online. What I want to know is, I want to know from somebody up top, what is it going to look like when you get there? What do you see in your mind? How is this thing going to play out for you? You know, the more that you can see it in your mind, the more you can paint the picture, the closer, the easier it is for you to move in that direction. So make the picture clear. So this is what I want. I'm getting ready to relinquish my seat, and I want somebody to talk about what they're doing currently right now, and what do you see in the future, man? What is this thing gonna look like for you? Dream as big as you possibly can. Money's not an issue. Resources aren't an issue. You got a private jet. You got an island that you could build on. What is it that you want to see? What's happening? I'm jumping up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. So here's the deal, guys. I see that there's many people who just can't even imagine what it's like for them to have their dream. Like it's like they put a dream out there, or they put some quote out there, put some goal out there, put some thought out there, but then they never have gotten to the point where they actually imagine themselves at this place. And so if you think about a house, for example, there has to be an imagination that happened before that house actually got to where it being physically out here, right? There had to be imagination on where the chimney was going to be, imagination on how many cars are going to be, or how many garages are going to be there, imagination on where the living room is going to be and the couch. And then they took from their imagination and they put a blueprint. They drafted it out. They drew that thing out. And so for you and your dream, for you and your definite major purpose, for you and the goal for which you're striving to, what does that look like? Can you imagine it? Have you imagined it? Do you see it? And that's what we're asking you today, is to put it out there. What do you see as it relates to where you're going? What do you see as it relates to where you're going? So feel free to hop into a seat again this Fan Friday. This is what we do. It's for the people. Share your vision board, as Mr. Beatles said. Mr. Singers.
Yep. So my vision is pretty clear. So as I said, I love building businesses, but more than anything, I love helping people, right? That's what I enjoy doing in life. That's what makes me feel good. So as I said, I do a lot of speaking out here, but my fundamental goal is to help at least 1 million people develop in my lifetime, right? And when I say develop, I mean I mean getting into the personal development space and getting into the space of really taking themselves serious, right? It's so easy to get stuck in the world around you and just live this, live the ant life, as I call it, where you just follow everyone else, right? So you get a job, you go home, you spend your life staring into a TV, and you hang out with some people, but you don't look at your goals, you don't look at what you want to do, and you don't ever follow your dreams, right? So that's my vision, and I generally, I mean, I love talking to big crowds, so I've done public speaking for about 5 years as well. So that's pretty much how I envision sharing my knowledge. But I have to say, I love a platform like Blab for the ability to talk to individuals, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, I have a very big goal in helping 1 million people, and everyone says, what's the point in helping one person here and there? That's never going to get you to 1 million. But I always look at it the other way around and say, I rather want to help 10 people now, because that will enable me to help many more people in the future, right? So again, I would always take steps in the right direction to help more and more people, rather than to say, well, I don't have a plan to help 1 million, so I just don't want to help anyone.
And that's the thing, man. Like you said, you can look at it and say, hey, I'm 200 steps away from home, or I'm 200 steps closer to my goal. And that's the deal. How do you look at it? How do you perceive it? And so for me, man, my big dream is to actually build a school for not just a brick and mortar, which I think I have to have, but I'm more so trying to build an online school where we can reach people all over the country that want to learn more about money. I'm a certified financial educator. Right now, I go out into schools and I just try to teach and connect with whomever I can, but it's growing. And I recognize that I want to be fluid. I want my school to be fluid, and I want it to be live. I think that is the biggest thing. I realize people don't need just information; they need inspiration, and there needs to be a transfer of energy when we teach. And so I want to have certified financial educators. I want to employ people, and I want this thing to be huge, that we can be the go-to provider for all of the nonprofits or for-profits that want to institute a financial education program into their organization. So that's my big dream. That is what I'm working towards each and every day that I get up, and everything that I do, from classes to speaking engagements, is centered around teaching people about money. Mr. Dotan.
Yeah, talking about what I would like to do, I mean, just in a similar fashion with Ivan, I am looking forward to help coach and empower the next generation of entrepreneurs, and also in a similar fashion of being able to provide a platform where it teaches not just the traditional business school education, but something that is really focused towards entrepreneurship, in the sense that you have practical tools there that you can put to use right away to start up your dream businesses. So we all have these dreams and aspirations, but the truth is that it's not going to be easy. But does that then mean that we should not put in everything? You got to give it 100%. You got to push it 100% all the way, knowing that even that will not be easy. So, like, the second point there is that it's saying it will be more difficult than you ever imagined. I mean, so we talked about John Maxwell setting up iEquip to train 6 million people. John Maxwell did not reach 6 million people by himself. He only had a model that helped him reach 6 million people by itself. And this is the way it works, using the Maxwell Roundtable. So I trained 12 people, but these 12 people also reach out to train other 12 people, and it begins to grow that way. So, and before you know it, it becomes something that becomes so big like that. But when we are so fixed on the end goal, so how will I reach 1 million people? That's overwhelming. You need to, if you want to eat the elephant, you break it into bit size, right? Start from where you are, start with what you have, and then see how it can multiply over time. That's the way it goes. So yeah, there's no dream that is not achievable. As Napoleon Hill says, whatever the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. If you already see it in your mind, it's achievable. Just know that, give it all what it takes, give it 100%. It's not going to be easy. You are going to meet roadblocks, but guess what? Do whatever you can to push those boundary limits. And before you know it, you are moving towards your goal. You are achieving your goal one step at a time. So that's my take on that, Mr. Ivan.
Hey, absolutely, man. So here's the deal, guys. We still got a seat open. It's Fan Friday. Give you an opportunity, man. Like I said, everyone has a voice. Let your voice be heard. I recognize it may not be easy to get on TV or camera or broadcast or live, whatever we got going on. But at the end of the day, man, sometimes you just got to put your stuff out there. And we talked about it yesterday, being held accountable. Like, you can't be held accountable if you don't put it out there, right? And then that gives you an excuse to not go after it. Put yourself out there. I know you got a dream. I know you got to go. I know some of you guys can't get on because you're driving or whatever the case may be, but some of you guys are here. You're saying, you know what? I'm going to take this step today. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to put my goal out there, and I'm going to let the world hold me accountable to my very own success.
So I want to motivate someone. That's $1 million bill. Who's going to jump on now? 2, 3, 4, go in.
Yeah, man. So I know Ms. Karen's right. So here's the deal, guys. So we've been traveling along through the law of intentionality, law of awareness, and so we're still waiting on you guys. But next week we're going to be moving into the law of the mirror. And as you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. Mr. Beals is coming back in. We're going to be moving into that next week. So hopefully you guys are enjoying. You guys are growing. You guys are getting something out of all of these laws. And we're going to be moving into law number 3 next week, which is the law of the mirror. Mr. Beals got something to share.
I just want to say, again, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to be on such a fantastic show every morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 7:30 on the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. Man, I really wanted somebody to jump in this hot seat down here and talk about their vision board. But I don't know. I guess everybody got to tighten up on the vision board or something. I don't know. But you gotta. This is what I do know. You have to have the courage. You got to have the gumption to put your thing out there. You got to put it out there, and you got to put it out there to the world. And sometimes, many times, you're not going to be ready. It's not going to be the perfect time. And but with what you do have, you have to have the courage to dream big, and you have to be okay with talking big numbers or big things. You have to be able to give lots of value for the things that you want in return. So those things you have to put out there. You have to put it out there. You got to say, I'm going to make $3 million this year. I'm getting ready to touch 100,000 people this year. I'm going to write my book this year. I'm going to build a call center from 100 people to 1,500 people in 1 year. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be able to build for 100,000 hours. These are things that you have to be able to put this stuff out here, have the confidence to say it, and then be able to back it up. I talk about the tongue in your mouth and the one in your shoe has to line up. And when it does, you get these incredible opportunities that just start opening up. Right now I'm doing I'm consulting, and it's an exciting place to be because what I told myself I would be this year is a small business developer. That small business development turned into big business development. And so, I'm excited about it. And it's because we're speaking it. It's because I'm saying it. And I'm sharing my ideas, and then I'm waking up every morning and I'm putting in the work. And when you put the work in, you get the work in return.
Absolutely. I got Vader trying to come in, man. That's the deal, man. I start putting my stuff out there, man. I told people at the beginning of the year I'm going to have my first paid speaking engagement. And 2 weeks ago, I got a call asking me how much do I charge. So you got to put it out there, man. Mr. Mads.
Yeah, I would say I agree and I don't agree. It's great to have a vision, and that can help you really motivate you, right? But people are very different, and a lot of the time, as we spoke about before, it's the small first steps, right? A lot of the time I've seen when people focus too much on the end goal, they keep telling themselves it's not possible, it won't happen, right? So I'm a little bit between the vision, and what I always work with people in the beginning is I always just say, get started. What's the direction you want to go? Right? Because a lot of the time, to get the confidence within yourself to start doing things, you really have to take those first steps first and foremost. But yeah, vision in general is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think hey, Vader.
Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Really quick, my story was last week when we were doing the law of intentionality. So one of the things that I did, one of the ones that was just saying, just do it. And I've been wanting to do this event, and I've been holding myself back, talking myself out of it. And when we did the law of intentionality, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I kind of stepped out on faith. I kind of went back and forth with it in my head. I wasn't sure if I would even be successful. I never did it before. So I just did it. I booked this venue. I'm doing an erotic spoken word here in my city, and I never did that before. I wanted to take my business to a different level. Still do the toys, but I kind of wanted to get a different audience in a sense. So I booked the venue. I got these tickets made up, and I just started putting the word out, and everybody's so excited. It's not till next month, and I'm just looking to get artists to come and perform their words. But I'm so excited, and I would have never did that if I didn't read that first chapter. I didn't have the courage to do that, and I'm just really, really excited. People are like, oh, I want to get a ticket. I want to get a ticket. When is it? So the energy is out there. The support is out there. And if I wasn't on this blab, and if I wasn't a part of y'all guys' group, I would have never did it. So I want to thank y'all for making it, having me had the courage to do that.
That's a big deal, Vader. That's major. That's super.
Hey, I need to see 500 props Right now.
Hey, right now. Right now. Everybody give great props.
Thank y'all. So it was good. It really is a good feeling. It really is a good feeling. And you guys are awesome. Y'all really are.
That's what's up, man. It is about it is. It's about seeing you have to see the picture before you start drawing. And so, you pick the paper up.
Hey, you can't just go back. You got that's where the pause come in. You need to repeat that.
You're awesome.
Yeah, you got to see the picture before you start drawing it. And then once you have an idea about what it is that you want to do, then get started. But move in that direction once you have an idea about where you want to go. And so I definitely agree with Mr. Singers, and you eat. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so with that being said, man, it's about having the idea. Have your idea in mind. What is it that you want to do? And then that will evolve and it will change over time. But at least have a picture in mind. When you have that picture in mind, then you can get started. You're motivated to move in a direction because you feel good about the picture that you see. And then if that picture changes along the way and you were traveling east and now you want to go west, that's okay too. But know where you want to go. Draw the picture first.
Absolutely, man. That just touched my heart, man. When you hear stories like that, it just makes you want to keep going. It gives you fuel to. It just adds to your why, man. So, of course, it's 7:35 now here, man. We do this 30 minutes. Hopefully, this has been a phenomenal show and a phenomenal movement and a phenomenal place that has touched you, Mr. Mads. Man, you got any last words for the peeps? You're on mute.
Sorry, I just want to say keep going and get started and get moving and keep moving.
Absolutely, man. So we dare you to grow, man. It's ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator. We got Mr. Mads here who joined us today. We have Mr. Dotan, Ms. Beta, who shared her story, and Mr. Beatles as well. And Beatles, you want to sign us out?
Oh man, it's been a wonderful, wonderful week, guys, and we are excited. I mean, we just thank you again just for sharing. Thank you. It is well, this is the contract. You know what I mean? We can't even call it a job. We gotta call this thing a contract, man. But no, we're thankful, so thankful for everybody that joins every single morning or wherever you are in the world. Make sure that you tell somebody. We're going to be back here 7 a.m. to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. We're going to be going over Chapter 3, which is, Evan Jefferson,
the law of the mirror. You must see value in yourself to add value to yourself.
That's right, man. How do you see yourself? How do you picture yourself? We were just talking about drawing the picture, right? So what picture of yourself do you have in your mind? Let's add value, right? Let's add value. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much for this, my soup game. All right. So with that being said, we'll see you back. We'll see you back on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Make sure that you all stay safe. Do something amazing today. And we're wealthy. We're healthy. We're happy. I know. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that together, Lauren. I promise. On Monday, I'm going to be good lighting up. And we are out.
Have a good weekend, guys.